Hi, I'm Mike of Nearly Enough Dice, and this is the Kerbal Space Program. I have been having some issues recently with basically crashing everything that I send to the moon, which gets a bit aggravating. So I've decided to play with the sandbox for a little bit, specifically KOS, because I'm using 0.16 and 0.17 is coming out, and 0.17 is going to have functions, which if you're a programmer is really cool, and if you're not, you kind of go, why do I care? Basically, it enables you to encapsulate bits of your code for reuse, and you can therefore use these functions in all sorts of different places without having to worry about it overwriting variables that you use in other parts of your code. Dumbaratu, who's the gentleman who put it together, I don't know if he's the developer on Chaos or just one of the developers on Chaos, but either way, he's the developer on Chaos, and he put out a video showing a hoverbot which he made using functions. And I thought, can I do that in 0.16? And it turns out I can. Put it on switch to 0, which is of the archive, and I'm going to run PID Hover. And there you go, a little hoverbot. And this hoverbot is going to sit at 15 meters above the ground, or more specifically, the altitude given by the function alt radar, I think, which takes into account things like the landing pad being a distance off the ground and stuff like that. And if I turn, in order to keep the rocket 15 meters above the ground, if I turn, I'm not putting as much force directly down, therefore it needs to throttle up. But that also means that I get sideways movement. So I can control my little hoverbot like this, wander about. And this is basically exactly the same code that was used, and used functions. But basically, there are ways and means of faking functions in 0.16 if you know what you're doing, and that's what I've done here. And this is really cool. Just kind of wander about and decide how fast you go, because the faster you point that way, the more you point in a direction, the faster it'll go in that direction. Of course, it does mean you need to slow down by pointing the other way. Basically, there's no friction. I mean, technically there's a little bit of friction, but effectively there isn't any. There isn't a huge amount. It's just air resistance. So largely, if I go in a particular direction, I'll just keep going in that direction. And you can see that I'm changing as I go over bits of the terrain. 5 meters, so I'm now 5 meters over those buildings, or 15 meters over those buildings. And now I'm on the other side of the building. I'm now only 15 meters over the road. And I've lost... There we go. I put a thermometer on as a marker, so I know where I'm pointing, because you can get very confused if you're off that way. The direction keys still move you the same way. You just it's just changing where you're pointing relative to the camera, which is a problem, and is an excellent way of crashing. Not that I won't crash anyway. So if I point, as long as I point the thermometer towards me, I know where I'm going. Now I'm going to try this. The basic, yeah, I'm just using the basic controls here, and nothing too complicated. And it's going to slow down. See if I come to a stop. I also, using the same code, action groups have been set up. So if I hit 1, the hover level goes down by 1. So I'm now only hovering at 10 meters. I'm going to go down to 9. I'm probably going to be okay at 10. Whee! I hit 2. Oh, camera got a bit confused there. Whee! And now let's see how brave we're feeling. Oh, wrong way. What? That's it. I'm wondering if I can get under there. I also don't have much fuel left. So I'm going to use the... Oh, okay, down, can I go? Whoa! No, I can't. Oh, I've got RCS set up on this as well, you see. Well, let's change the... Ah! Let's get up in the air again. Whoa! Camera did not like that. Let's kill velocity. So I've got RCS on here as well. That's my own edition. So I can actually just travel around like that. So there you go, nice little hoverbot. And the thing is, it was actually very, very easy to set up. Once I learned how to fake functions, it was extremely easy. Oh, I should go down actually. So let's go down. And it's set that when the gears... Oh, I know what happened. It returned control to me, and then it put the control... Oh, there you go, that's fine. So then it put the throttle back to where it had been before, which was... normally it's about halfway through when you first launch. So as soon as I put the control back, it went up in the air. So what's really cool about this is how simple it is to set up. So there you go, nice little hoverbot. Now I've had another go, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to revert back to launch. To see if I could have a hoverbot that actually has more than one controller going. So the idea being, can I have one controller controlling up and down, and another controller dealing with side to side? And I'm not sure how well this has really worked. Test lib PID. Because this is the same code running, except I also have code for using the latitude and longitude to keep everything in the same place. And you'll notice that I'm actually bouncing up and down a lot. And I need to check to see whether or not I've broken the tuning parameters of the control loop. Which is that basically the way a PID control works is given where you want to be and where you are now, the P is proportional to the difference. So that's so you would apply a proportion of the difference between where you are compared to where you want to be to, say, your throttle. You put if you had your tuning parameter to be 1/3, you'd set your throttle to 1/3 the difference between where you want to be and where you are. So obviously, as you get closer to where you want to be, the amount of throttle you put in is less. There is an integral, or I can't remember what the I stands for. Nuts. Brain's gone. But essentially, that is it adds an increment. I think incremental might be it. It adds a bit every time it notices that you are off your desired altitude. It will add a bit to the amount of throttle. So if you basically, you may need to add a fudge. You might need to add a fudge factor. So it might be you need to add 1/3 of the throttle plus this amount. In the case of hovering, for example, the amount you hover, when you're actually at hover, you want to go at 0 plus exactly enough to keep you steady, and that's what the incremental does. And the D is I think delta or derivative, and I can't remember which. And that's essentially to exactly to stop exactly this kind of bouncing that's going on here. So I've possibly broken that parameter. What I don't know is if the parameters interfere with one another. Where are you going? You're not going where I think you should be going. I've done something silly. I know what's going on here. Basically, what I've done is I've given a latitude and a longitude for my little craft to go to. It's just not the one that I thought it was going to be, because I've mangled my code because I'm an idiot. Yeah. I wanted to send it to the launch pad, but it is in fact going somewhere else entirely. So this is technically a bit of a spoiler if you've not played much Kerbal Space Program. I also don't know if I've got enough fuel for this. But there is a mysterious thing just off the launch pad, well, just north of Kerbal Space Center, and my little robot, little hoverbot, has been told to go look at it. So there you go. Now, as you can see, I've not tuned this very well because it's wildly overshot. And it's going to have to head back again. And so it's going to take a little while for it to get on target. But the thing is, this was relatively easy to set up, and this is all numbers that I need to work out to give to it the initial conditions. So I need to find out the right value for P and the right value for I and the right value for D, so that it will get to where I want it to, get there quickly, and not massively overshoot. And I am going to just crash and burn. I was intending to land gracefully and gently, but that did not happen. Right, now I've put the correct coordinates in to where I actually want to go. So let's have another go at this. Switch to 0. Run test lid PID. I really need. One of the things I need to test is whether or not having more than one controller actually interferes with each other. It's kind of weird. They kind of must do and they kind of must not do. Because they are clearly using different values, because the hoverbot is still hovering, although it's very bouncy, it's still hovering, and it's not going in some completely mad wrong direction. I've got it this time. Now what I might not have is the height. What I'm aiming for is there's a helipad on the top of the vehicle assembly building. And I'm going to see if I'm probably just going to crash into it if I'm not careful. So I'm just going to try and give myself some height. There we go. Now the wacky problem that there's going to be caused is that, like I say, altitude is going to be at the top of that thing. So I'm either going to be on, if I'm now on this side of it, so it's whatever 101 meters to this ground. Am I going to make it? Yes. Okay. And so when I'm over the actual VAB, it's 100 meters over the top of that. In fact, it's over the top of the hoverpad. Oh, am I going to make it? Might not. Oh, no! Oh, dearie me, that was just too funny. I have some work to do on this. It's still exploding. I have some work to do on this. But as you can see, the basic idea works. I can make a hoverbot and I can send it to go to a particular set of latitude and longitude coordinates. And be reasonably certain that it'll get there. Eventually, if it doesn't crash. And stuff like that. Anyway, that was a bit of nonsense. Hopefully, I may even be able to make this. There's actually a series of challenges on the COS, on the COS or Chaos, depending on how you view it. The Chaos subreddit, which I should be able to make this code into. Like I've got to, set it up and go to 100 meters and then come back down again, and then go to 70 kilometers and then come back down again, and stuff like that. And I should be able to make these bits into that particular type of challenge. But basically, this has just been a little bit of fun. I've been able to make a little hoverbot and make it very easily, which is kind of cool. So there you go. I've been Mike of Need Enough Dice. Hope you've been enjoying these videos. Hit like and subscribe if you want to see me crash more things. Oh, a very important thing that I need to do. Very important thing is go to the Space Center. Very important thing that I've forgotten to do. Come on, load up, load up, load up. Where are we? I want the flag! There we go. Can we move? Yeah, we can move that. Oh, that's as close as you can move, is it? I've changed the flag. Oh, actually, can I just go back here and fly that? So as to properly represent my Antipodean heritage, my inability to use the English language has nothing to do with my Antipodean heritage. It's just, I've got problems. There you go. A nice Australian flag to put everywhere. So anyway, like and subscribe if you're liking these videos. Find us at nearlyenough.dice.com, which is our role-playing game themed podcast and blog. And until next time, I have been Mike of Nearly Enough Dice. Reach for the stars.